It is time for our political plays of the week. Joining us this morning, Bill Vickery and Jessica DeLoach, breaking down the big political issues this week. Let's start with the one we were just talking about. Victoria was talking about at the state capitol with a representative changing from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. Your thoughts on this?
Well, this has been talked about for a while. There have always been rumblings about certain Democrats in the state changing parties because of the way their values align with the Republican Party's values. In this particular instance, Representative Holcomb came out and said that the most recent debacle about Planned Parenthood here in the state was kind of the breaking point for him and why he decided to jump ship and move forward with the Conservative Party and their values of taking money away from women's health care in the state.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Republican. Representative Holcomb's a smart guy. Come over where the cool kids are. I mean, not to be flippant, but the reality is it is still part of this significant Republican wave that's been 3 election cycles in the making. He represents a pretty conservative part of Arkansas. I think parts of 5 counties are in his House district. And he always had a conservative voting record to begin with. Okay. So, you know, not a lot's going to change. Good guy. The Republican Party is a big tent. We welcome him and look forward to him having a successful future as a Republican. That just adds to the numbers for Republicans in the House of Representatives.
This is a good opportunity, though, for the Democratic Party to really be able to tighten up their tent because, as Bill had already highlighted, it's not like Representative Holcomb was really voting along with the Democratic Party, but there were also instances where he did. And if you look at the way he had maneuvered through the private option, I think that's very interesting. He won his last election by a pretty significant margin, so to flip on that, it'll be interesting to see how those votes turn out the next time around if he does have an opponent. It'll just be an interesting race to watch, I really think.
Private option, a big story in the news this week. The governor making a speech announcing a proposal of changes, 7 points in that speech, a slew of changes to be made over time. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the governor, in a sort of widely anticipated speech, mapped out these 7 points that he saw as sort of the future of healthcare policy in Arkansas. It was almost like you go to a college class. You know, he was a very successful prosecutor. He laid his case out just like a prosecutor. There was an overhead projector. He had graphs and screens and everything. Look, a lot of thought has gone into this. The legislature, he was very smart to engage the legislature. I thought he struck a tremendous tone, really the perfect tone, just like the first speech he did back in February, dealing with the health care issue. Same kind of thing. I told one of his staff, the first speech was The Godfather, this speech was Godfather 2. They both won Academy Awards. He's really hit the sweet spot on health care in Arkansas.
Well, we're in a good place here with health care in the state, and what we've seen based on the last report that came out about the process that we have in place is that it's working. And what most people are asking is, well, hey, if it's working, please don't break it. What are you trying to fix exactly? The thing that matters the most is that we're able to deliver care to people in the state who need it, and being able to maintain that is the most important factor in all of this.
Yeah, I thought, look, you fix what's broken. Things are particularly broken in terms of the area of eligibility. You've seen the government go back, verifying that people are eligible to be on the program. That instills a lot of faith in the state. Taxpayers look and say you're doing the right thing when you audit these kinds of things. I just think he's in the groove right now in terms of his health care policy and what he's got going on.
We're out of time. Thank you both so much. Jessica DeLoach, Bill Vickery, in what DJ Williams just called when we were Skyping with him earlier.
Good luck to him with the skins.
Favorite segment of the week. This is what he misses the most out of the show, political plays.
Even though I'm a Cowboy fan, we still love DJ.
A temporary Redskins fan for DJ. We'll be back with a check of that forecast on this Friday morning. Stay with us.